All right, hello and welcome to another episode of the Dana White's Contender series with Couch and Dogfather. And yeah, welcome back. It's week 5. Dog, what are you thinking about this card? It's a pretty good one in my opinion.
You don't want to do a recap for these anymore? You
Yeah,
don't
we
want to
can do it.
do
Yeah,
a.
let's do a recap. Let's do a
We
recap.
should do like a short little recap for the people because I feel like we've been doing pretty good. So might as well talk about it.
Let's do it. Yeah. Okay. So for me, I pulled it up. Did pretty well. Kind of shot myself in the foot a few times, but I saved myself with the last minute plays, which is usually the opposite of how that goes. Cashed Co. That was the first bet I made, plus 250 for a half unit. I ripped Santos right before the card started at plus 400. That was nice. He looked really good, man. If I thought it was gonna look like that, I mean, if anyone thought would look like that, they'd be heavy on it. But Dubin, I threw 0.1 units on Dubin plus 1,000, and that made me even because I also played the over there, which wasn't close. And Gage Young plus 170 for a unit. Honestly, probably a bet I'd make again. And then Bashi decision, Bashi round 3. I lost those, but I cashed the over 1.5. Another late second ad. How about you, dog? How'd you do?
Break even pretty much. I had the over and the Dubin fight, which I mean, who cares? Like I probably would make that bet again, honestly. Like it's a WMMA KO from a plus, 500 to 1,000 underdog, like whatever. You know what I mean? Like she hit her win condition. Congratulations. I'd still play the over. And then I played Santos about last minute. I tried to get 370. And then right before the fight, I got 320. So I played that for a unit to win 3.2. And then I made a mistake by playing the Igor under. Kind of the same reason why you played Co's. There are a lot of unknowns. So I should be staying away from totals in those spots too. Um, Especially if I'm thinking about playing an under, just because we don't know. We didn't know how good the guy was. We figured he was the truth, but to play minus 220 on an under is pretty much saying that I can assume this guy is really, really good and that he's fighting a warm body. And we didn't really know how good he was. So, regretful, non-pass and play on that. Wish I just passed, but it is what it is. You live and you learn.
Yes, sir. But all right, so let's jump into this card. First fight up, we've got Corinne Laframboise versus Nicolle Caliari. Corinne, 8-4-0, 35 years old, 5'5", 64-inch reach. Caliari, 7-2-0, going to be 8 years younger at 27, 2 inches shorter, and then a 2-inch reach disadvantage. Start us off, dog.
Interesting fight. Breaking it down simply, I'm actually familiar with Laframboise. I've seen her fight a couple times because I believe she's fought. I've taped her incidentally because she's fought
Manon?
Militant and Gifts. Who?
Manon?
I know Manon, but she's also fought Jamie Lynn Horth as well. So
Yeah.
she has a really, really strong level of competition, in my opinion. For me, a much higher level of competition than Caliari or however you would say her name is. She's good. She's well-rounded. She's a good striker, decent grappling. Obviously she got washed by Manon, but who cares, she hurt Horth really bad early and just kind of got broken late. And I think she's good. She's a good kickboxer. She's just good at MMA, she's solid. Coming off a long layoff, she just had a kid, like 5-6 months ago. So that's going to be the big narrative this week about the fight. I don't really, care personally. I think she's better than Caliari. Just, level of comp. I think she's just more skilled than her. At a pick'em price, I'd probably favor, Laframboise just because the level of comp, and in my opinion, her, ability. But having a kid, long layoff, she's older. Seems like it could be more of a setup spot for this younger Brazilian who's 27, turning 28 soon. She's, attractive, looks like somebody who the UFC could probably want to get behind a little bit just from a marketing perspective. Comes from a good gym. I think she's from like Thai, Brazil. I think Marina Rodriguez, I think she's like a training partner of Marina Rodriguez for a long time. She's all right. I don't really like her game. She's kind of just like kind of wings a little bit on the feet and seems to really get really tired in a lot of her fights. Like the last fight I was able to see on tape, she gets a round 2 armbar, but she's already kind of like slowing down and, getting taken down easily and just playing off her back and getting an armbar, which is great. But I mean, the level of competition outside of Hansen and maybe a couple of these others, like, decent Brazilian regional girls, like she's doing well, but I don't really rate, that level of comp. She fought Hansen in 2019 and got rinsed into grappling, which is my biggest concern, because I think if Laframboise can hit takedowns here, I mean, and not get submitted, she's going to probably roll. It just depends if, she gets submitted from her back, and I don't really cap, WMMA arm bars and into WMMA fights unless this girl's like an elite jiu-jitsu player, like, a Jacqueline Amrim, and I haven't seen anything that makes me believe that. So I favor Laframboise. I think she probably wins by decision. Like, I think she just kind of grinds this out, as Caliari, in theory, would slow down. But yeah, I don't really trust her at the price, even though it's a pick 'em, just because of the layoff. I think a lot of folks take a little bit too much into account for these older WMMA fighters. I don't really think it's much of a factor, largely because in WMMA, physicality and athleticism and just the speed and, all the other, factors that kind of make I don't know, just explosiveness in general. And yeah, the great point, Glenbot. Yeah. All like those explosive factors and traits that kind of leave fighters as they get older. It's not as exponential in WMMA. So I think a lot of folks are going to go, "Oh, she's old," and it's like, yeah, she's really old for Dana White's Contender Series. But in terms of winning this fight, I don't really think it matters.
Yeah, I kind of lean the same way as you. Because of the age, though, you have to think, like, obviously Cagliari is the one who they want to win. That doesn't always play out the way they want, but might also mean they know something in terms of just like maybe Corinne really hasn't been in the gym all that much. I don't know. I can't speak to it. Had a kid, but that was what? Was that 2 years ago, or was that some point closer? Because I know she's been out over 2 years.
I think I can't remember if she realized she had a kid going into her. It might have been she realized she had a kid going into her last scheduled fight or something, but I don't know the exacts. But I know that the layoff was because she had a kid. I don't think it was like too long ago, though, to be honest.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So like I don't know if she's been in the gym. Skill for skill, I mean, it seems like if she's still as good as she was 2 years ago, as long as she grapples, she should win. On the feet, it's probably close. Cagliari seems like maybe she hits a bit harder. She's never been to a decision, right? I think she's been to the third round, never been to a decision, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, I mean, I see the path for Corinne. I really don't like the takedown defense of Cagliari. I really don't. I don't like how she plays off her back, looks for the subs. The jiu-jitsu looks pretty good, but Corinne seems pretty good there as well. I think she can keep the control, do her own damage. And yeah, on the feet, like I said, like I think it's pretty close. I lean Cagliari, but not by a ton. I would need like a decent number to get involved. If I got like plus, I don't know, plus 135, plus 140, plus 150 would be great. But I'd consider it at any of those points because I'm willing to take the shot with the variance on the layoff. The age at the end of the day, I do think matters to an extent. Yeah, probably a pass fight though. Don't want to force anything.
Yeah, I think it could be a good over spot, to be honest. They both seem really tough.
If they if they overrate the under, yeah, it could be. Because if they look at
they're gonna wiki cap, and most of the early limit bettors, they always end up wiki capping the fight for the most part. So
yeah, and Cagliari might take into decision. Corinne has a decent amount of finishes, if I remember right, too.
Yeah, I mean they're pretty good finishers, but I don't. That's at the end of the day, it's WMA, so I'm not gonna lean towards the under unless I think that like they're not gonna grapple a ton.
She found out she was 3 months pregnant before her booked Contender Series fight last year, and they brought her back. Oh, so it was very recent. So she definitely hasn't been in the gym.
3 months pregnant before her. When was her booked Contender Series fight?
Well, if it was last year, then a year ago. Let me see.
Yeah, so she would have had the kid. Yeah, she would have had the kid like 6 months, like less than a year ago.
Yeah, so it's unlikely she's in the gym, or wasn't. I'm sure she's in the gym now. But Cagliari, younger, definitely been in the gym. Let me check. I want to see who Corinne was supposed to fight. I'm looking it up. Rain Guerrero.
She would have smoked Rain Guerrero.
Yeah. Who'd she get her ass kicked by? Barbosa.
Yeah, Barbosa. Barbosa came in short notice and
I
smoked her.
remember now. But all right,
But
let's
yeah,
move
she was.
on.
Well, they definitely. All you can say is they were probably bringing in. Yes. But 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 they were probably bringing. I would assume they were bringing Laframboise to win that fight because, in my personal opinion, I don't think Brain Guerrero is a UFC level. But
Yeah. All right, we can move on. Next up, we've got Otar Tanzilov versus Josias Musasav. Tanzilov 9-0 undefeated. He's going to be 26, 5'11", don't have his reach. Musasav 7-0 undefeated. He's 25, 1 year younger. Going to be 3 inches shorter, and he's going to be at we don't know. He's got a 70-inch reach. I think when I was watching one of Tanzilov's fights, I think the commentary were like, oh yeah, he has a crazy reach. He has a 77-inch reach. There's no chance. Zero chance Tanzilov has a 77-inch reach. That would be insane for bantamweight, first of all. And second of all, it just doesn't look like it. But in terms of this fight,
he don't even look 5'11".
What'd you say?
I said he don't even look 5'11" to me.
Oh, he doesn't. Like Musasav seems bigger, but we'll see at face-offs. Yeah, for me, I mean, I thought I might like Tanzilov. This is pre-lines, like even being out. I didn't know who was like what odds, but just wiki capping last week, I was like, okay, seems like a spot I might like the Georgian wrestler if he's a wrestler. And then I taped it, and I was like, all right, I like Musasav. And I knew you were. We didn't even talk yet. I knew 100% you were playing him. I don't know if he has, but I'd bet money Pierce is playing him. I know somebody else probably doesn't want me to give out their plays, but he's on him too. Yeah, I mean, the way I see it, Tanzilov's talented. I wouldn't be shocked if he got into the UFC. Wouldn't be shocked if he won this fight. He probably will end up there eventually. I think he's got the skill set. He's a great striker, really nice kicks, nice combos. The grappling's decent. He can wrestle offensively. Not a super threat, and his control isn't that good, but he can do it. And yeah, I mean, his kicks are what get the job done. He has that nasty knockout he had in, I think, 3 fights ago, the jumping one. And he's clean on the feet, but he keeps the hands low. I think he could be backed up. He seems a bit gassy, not a bit. He seems pretty damn gassy. And Musasa's just going to be in his face. Musasa's a powerful guy. He's a good striker. He can get a little bit sloppy, but he is good. He's fighting out of southpaw. Takedown defense seems pretty solid. Hasn't been tested a ton, so like just watching it, I feel like Tanzilov will probably get a few takedowns, but Musasav seems to work back up relatively quickly. And like I said, Tanzilov's control doesn't seem very good to me. And I just feel like Musasa's going to keep backing him up. I feel like Tanzilov at some point is going to gas out a bit, and I think Musasa's going to land something big and knock him out. I wouldn't be shocked if he won a decision just by keeping it on the feet. I do think Tanzilov will shoot more and more once he sees that it's not really going his way. But like I said, I think Musasav should be okay. My main concern is that he's only left the first round one time, and he's also been chinned. And his competition's way worse than Tanzilov's. So, like, those are all kind of red flags for me. But at plus 210, which is what I got, I'm willing to take the risk on those because it's also a gut feeling. I just feel like Musasa's going to back him up, and put him out. How about you?
When was the knockout loss? Wasn't that his pro debut?
Who?
For Musasav. I thought he was undefeated. Are you talking about Tanzilov?
No. I meant Tanzilov's win where he jumped and kicked the dude in the face.
No, but you said somebody got knocked out in their only loss.
Oh, knocked down. Musasav did.
Oh, knocked down. I was like, wait, somebody got knocked out.
Nah, Musasav got knocked down.
I must have missed that.
That was the only fight that went into the second.
Yeah, I remember that. I mean, I think you kind of highlighted it. It seems like Tanzilov's like the more well put together guy when it comes to just MMA, right? He's got a well-rounded skill set. He's fought a decent level of competition. He's at a much better gym than Musasav is. Like, I don't know, he was training in Africa. Leave it at that. I'm not really sure what gym he's at. And I couldn't find if he had moved to like a US gym for for his Dana White Contender Series camp, which would have made me incredibly bullish if he moved to like Extreme for 10-week camp or something like that, but none of that happened. So, I have a ton of questions with Musasav, to be honest with you, and I don't think there's as many on Tanzilov. I just don't think he's anything special, to be honest with you. He just kind of seems like a solid regional guy that probably will be UFC level at some point. And I don't think he is UFC level now personally. And I don't know what his potential is in the UFC either. Thinking about it from like a long-term perspective, he is like a dominance MMA guy. So he's an Ali Abdelaziz, client, which kind of makes me a little nervous for Musasa because maybe they know something, or maybe it's just them getting somebody in that they like. I don't know, right? But whenever you see a dominance MMA guy on Contender Series, you're immediately like, well, they're definitely the A side. But yeah, I mean, I like Musasa here. I bet Musasa at like plus 220 to about around. I think an average around like 220 for a unit. I just think he's, like you said, I just think he has a lot of potential, man. I mean, I just watch him fight, and his athleticism just like jumps off the page. He looks like he'd have really good cardio. He just looks like kind of a physical freak that, if at like this big underdog, at like a pretty big underdog price where I don't really rate either guy, like I don't really rate Tanzilov that highly, that gives me any pause to, taking a shot on somebody who seems like they have a ton of potential on like a speculative line that could have massive, huge favorite upside, especially early with how he fights and how athletic he is and explosive. Yeah, I'm all there. I'm there all the time. So yeah, I'm with you here. I think Musasa is the side. It seems like the lines come in a little bit, but I'm not sure what to think about the market on it. I just know that for my process, plus 220 on a guy who has a lot of big favorite upside and who seems like his athleticism and his ability and possible potential kind of jumps off the page more than the guy is at minus 250. I'm going to go to the opposite side. So I'm with you.
All right, let's do it. So I think our record's been pretty good when we line up so far, if I'm not
Well,
mistaken.
let's hope so. It has been. Especially on the dogs, Pulayev and Santos. I think we're smoking most of our dogs.
Yeah, I mean, I've taken a few dog shots that have whiffed too, like freaking Bromhall. Jeez Louise.
Well, hey, I tried to tell you, brother. You know what I'm saying?
You guys did. I was seeing that fight opposite from you guys. That was a bad read.
I was like, dog. I was like, I'm like, this is not the one.
But yeah, here's the one where we're definitely not going to disagree. We got Yousri Belgaroui versus Taiga Iwasaki. Belgaroui 7-3-0, 32 years old, 6'5" with a 79-inch reach. Feels like Dana really freaking wants this dude. Wasaki 9-1-0, 27. He's 5 years younger, 4 inches shorter, and don't have his reach. Why don't you start us off, dog?
So this Japanese guy is actually a fill-in for Belgaroui's original opponent, which was the savage Russian dude that ran through Pulayev in one of his pro losses. And that would have been a competitive fight. Like I would have actually probably been interested in the Russian because they would have given us a close line. And I think he would have probably, I'm not going to say much, but I think he could have dunked on Belgaroui. There's not many times you get like savage Russian strikers. And whenever you get them, you're like, ooh, this guy decided not to wrestle. He's got to be good. But now they got a fill-in opponent who it actually turns out looks like he has like a Sando or like karate background. I peeped the Instagram and watched the tape, and I don't know what this guy is technically very impressive at when it comes to MMA. For respectfully. I mean, he's solid. He's jacked. I just don't know what to say about him. I mean, his level of comp's not great.
What happened there?
I don't know. I popped in and out. But it seems like he's really strong and physical and seems pretty durable too. I mean, I guess he's pretty young, so maybe in the future he can improve a little bit, but I really just don't think he's at the level yet. And Belgaroui, we've talked about him before. I'm not a big fan of the guy personally. I just think he's okay. When I was following, and I love kickboxing. It's kind of my base and my background, and it's what I enjoy. When he was in Glory, I was really never that high on Belgaroui, even in his kickboxing career. I think he's a good kickboxer, but I don't think he's I think he's a great, world-class kickboxer, but I don't think he's like legendary, status in terms of like, I think how maybe Dana views him, or, some people might talk about him. I think he's a solid kickboxer and he's world class, but he's not some, the GOAT. And his MMA game is all right. He uses long punches and kicks and typical kickboxing style. He uses range well. Good front kicks, calf kicks, jabs as you expected. He's an all right defensive grappler. He's all right. He's not the best, but it seems like he's improved and worked on it a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Belgaroui, but I think he should roll in this fight. I mean, he's just way better at MMA than this guy. Like, he's got like a high level of combat sports experience, like fighting some of the best guys in glory and winning a lot of fights. And he seems to be improving his MMA game and grappling. So I think the price was warranted. I really struggle to see how he loses this fight in really much of any capacity, unless he's just like cage pushed for 15 minutes and just like that. Because I don't doubt he loses at striking range. Maybe he gets head kicked would be like how he loses or something. But I don't really see much coming back from this guy that would concern me with even laying minus 400, to be honest with you. I think this is like one of those spots that I'll probably just lay the juice and call it a day. Because I just don't know. I mean, when was this Japanese guy's last fight? I don't remember.
About a year ago.
Yeah, okay. It was a year ago, so I mean, maybe he's made some improvements, which would be bullish, but he's also taking this fight as a replacement, so it's not like he's had a ton of time to prepare for this moment as well. So, yeah, I got to favor Belgaroui by like a wide margin. And it turns out that there was a lot of narrative going into the Tulio fight where he looked underwhelming. He had like Lyme's disease or something, or he found out he had Lyme's disease, or he was sick. I don't know the guy's health. That's not any of my business, but he definitely didn't look as good in that fight as, he did in some of his prior tape, but it could also just be Tulio being really, in my opinion, being really good. So, yeah, I think Belgaroui should roll. I might lay it.
Yeah, I might do the same thing. We'll see. I just, like, how I do my notes. I have like both sides, and then I have the strengths and weaknesses. I genuinely didn't know what to put for Iwasaki's strength. I was like, I don't know. I guess he seems like a decent striker, kinda. But then it's like, no, not really. He's super hittable. His hands are down. He's getting outstruck by terrible, terrible competition. His competition all around is just abysmal. Not 7-6-0. Lovato Jr., of course, is not bad, but that was, you can throw that out the window. But 1-4-0, 0-0-0, 1-5-0. You get the point. Belgaroui, I'll be happy to fade him once he's in the UFC. Give me a decent grappler against him who can strike too, and I'll probably be backing them at good plus money. I think he's fine, but I think he's a lot better than Iwasaki. Much better striker, going to have the power edge, much bigger. Highly doubt Iwasaki gets him down at a high clip. Maybe he takes him down once or twice. I really don't think he holds him down. He doesn't have great control. Belgaroui at least training now at Texera MMA. Probably good for his ground game. Not that it has helped Alex all that much, but it's probably better. His get-ups are good. Even when he's taken down, his get-ups are pretty quick. No reason to really waste time here. I don't see how Iwasaki wins. I personally don't. I'll parlay Belgaroui if I can figure out with who, but that's been my issue this whole season. I'll find one parlay leg, but I don't know who to put them with.
Hey, I'm telling you, as a guy who just lays juice straight a lot,
the chalk father.
It's better than just parlaying something you feel suspect about. It's like just play it. Like, if you feel so confident that this line is way off, there's enough value to just play it straight.
Yeah.
Like, I know that you don't want to like it. I know you don't want to like lay the juice or whatever, but sometimes it's just better to just lay it like and just not think about it.
Yeah, might end up doing that. But we can move on. Next fight up. This is a really interesting one. We've got Cody Steele versus Quemuel Ottoni. Steele 6-0, 29 years old. He's going to be 5'9", don't have his reach. Ottoni 12-3-0. He's 31. He's going to be 6 feet tall. So he's 2 years older and he's 3 inches taller. I'll start us off here. So I was hyped to get to Cody Steele because everybody was talking about him. I was like fairly familiar because he fought on Fury, right? but I definitely needed a refresher. Didn't remember him that well. I know Ottoni because we had to tape him for PFL like 3 times, and then every fight fell off. But I remembered him pretty well. I'm weirded out in general with this fight because it's at lightweight. Steele is usually a lightweight, but then you look at his record, there's a bunch of catch weights at like 165, 160. And then Ottoni, he's been a middleweight, welterweight his whole time. And yeah, he's looked pretty, not super athletic.
Chunky.
A little, yeah, like I do. He looked like I do. And not the best look if you're a fighter. So I get why he's coming down to 155. I look at him and like maybe sure he had some fat to carve off, but he doesn't seem like he can make 155. But then I'm looking at his Instagram now. He looks really thin. He looks really ripped. Apparently with Fight Nerds, which, as you would say, is bullish.
Incredibly bullish.
Definitely bullish. And then even if he's not, I'm watching it and Steele is 100% talented, 100% a UFC guy eventually, if not now, probably ranked. Very good grappling, very athletic, very well-rounded. His striking is very good. It's getting better. Grappling clearly his thing. But for a guy who's primarily a grappler, I don't know. I feel like the jiu-jitsu is not translating well. He's got 1 sub in those 6 wins. He's fighting comp that, some of his comp is decent, some of it not so much. And then I'm watching him. He'll get the takedowns. The wrestling looks fine, but he can't really hold any of them down. He's struggling to hold down pretty much all of his opponents. You have to go way back into the tape, like way back. I mean, he went pro like 2022, but you got to go back to like his 2nd or 3rd fight to see him really holding guys down for prolonged periods of time. And for me, that's a concern. And then on the feet, I've seen him backed up. I've seen him outstruck. He's good, but he's not. I don't know if he's ready to go 15 minutes on the feet with someone like Ottoni. I feel like that might not go that great for him. I feel like Ottoni seems to me, I don't know if I want to say a better striker, but I think he might be a better striker. I think he's got more tools. He's got the kicks he's using. He's got a lot more kicks. And I think his output is better too. I think the takedown defense seems pretty good. The last time he like really got out grappled was 2019. Do you know who I'm talking about? What's his name again? He's
Wilker Lemos.
Yeah. And he's also like not smaller, but he's
that
also
was at 85. That was at 85.
Yeah, but what Lemos is, he's like 5'10" or something, at least on his Tapology.
He's swole.
Yeah, he's ripped, and he was able to hold him down. So
yeah, he mugged him. He mugged him, to be honest, in that fight.
That's why I kind of need to see the face-offs, because if Ottoni's significantly bigger, I'm gonna make a move, because if he can get up, I think he can outstrike Steele. I think he can make him uncomfortable, not give him the game he needs, and I think he can outstrike him. And if he really is that Fight Nerds, he has been out for 2 years. I think we can see a really improved guy. And talking about the layoffs, right? I mean, layoffs could be bad. Like for Laframboise, like she was out for 2 years with the kids. She's not training. But in general, this year, I feel like the guys coming off layoffs, like Jordan Santos, for example, they've gotten better. As long as long as they're relatively young going into that layoff, I'm less spooked about it. And honestly, kind of like makes me more interested. Especially if he's been at Fight Nerds, probably not for 2 years, but even if he's been there for a few months, that's great. I'm sure it seems like he's been training the whole time based off his Instagram. I don't really know why he's been pulling out. But yeah, if at face-offs he's significantly bigger, I'll take the shot. If it's still like plus 170, maybe plus 165. Steele seems like the real deal. He does seem really good. I feel like he's going to struggle to hold Ottoni down, and I feel like on the feet I favor Ottoni. But how about you?
Yeah, I don't really know what to think about Ottoni, to be honest. He just seems like a he just like seem I don't know. I don't know what to think about him, to be honest. Like on the feet, he's pretty good. I mean, his boxing is decent. Like he mixes in and layers in like uppercuts and hooks and jabs and all that, but it's mostly just full piss and vinegar, to be honest. Like that's his game. Like if you watch him fight, you're like, oh, this guy is just all piss and vinegar, and like with some okay jiu-jitsu, but everybody that's tried to grapple him has grappled him, period. Anything that I've watched grapple. And have you watched the fight where he like submitted himself?
Which fight are you talking about?
Like his guillotine loss, like years ago.
Oh yeah.
Dude, can you tell me what happened?
No, I can't. But the takedown defense looked pretty good his last time out. This dude.
I mean, yeah, but I mean that guy was awful.
Yeah,
that guy was awful.
Like,
I know the record's like 9-4, but that guy was awful. I did not care about that fight at all. every single time I've seen this guy try to get grappled at anybody against anybody who's decent, I've seen him get mugged. And if there's one thing Cody Steele can do, it is grapple. No, I do think that he needs some improvements, like you said, on his MMA grappling. Like, just getting in because his wrestling style, he's really strong. I would love to see him just get in a body triangle or just MMA meta, just these guys. Because he could, if he could just get his hooks in and go body triangle.
He never has, though. That's the thing.
And that's what's frustrating, because I feel like he easily could in a lot of these fights. He gets to those positions and he gets there pretty easily too. Like, he's really strong, he's really physical, and it's going to be minus a gazillion.
You think fight doesn't go? It's going to be
it'll be like 400. Yeah.
I'd play the fight goes all day then. I think we go.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about
like
that.
who's going to finish? Steele's going to knock him out? I don't think he's going to sub him.
He could definitely. If this dude submitted himself with a guillotine, he can definitely submit.
How long ago was that, though? Come on.
Brother, I do not care. If you get submitted by yourself and you have a black belt and you've done it as a professional, I am even the Wilker Lemos, like even that RNC, he was like off to the side and like tapped. Like that wasn't even locked in. Like, and he still got absolutely, and I get it's at 85 and yada yada, but it's like, and I know he's got a black belt, that's cool, but I just did stuff like that, dude. It's hard for me to feel good about it when I see it happen. It's just like a massive red flag. And he's facing a guy who in theory is, I don't know, like Cody Steele's a really good, no gi. He's here because he has a really long track record of just being really, really, really good at no gi jiu-jitsu. Like, I get that his MMA grappling game needs to improve a little bit and his striking games needs to improve, but he has all the tools to be a very solid, guy at 155 in the UFC right now, in my opinion. And to me, like, Ottoni just has a lot of piss and vinegar and is going to be an exciting fighter. So from a skills perspective, I feel like Steele is just, I mean, if it was just a skill for skill fight, I think this line is kind of nice at minus 200, to be honest.
Yeah, if they were the same size, I'd feel pretty confident in Steele, but I feel like there's going to be a pretty big size difference.
Yeah, and that's probably why I'll choose to just stay away, because I think Steele's much better than this guy, like technically and just overall. He's just better than him. Ottoni just seems to be a lot of piss and vinegar and, beating up on. I wasn't really impressed with many of his wins either. Besides the Alex Pereira win, where he pretty much was like on death's door and Homer Simpsoned his way into victory, which was just amazing scenes fight. Like the most Brazilian fight of all time.
The shady bookie in the corner cashed the hell out that day.
I don't even know if they had a bookie. They were accepting, I don't know what they were saying. They were accepting food and stuff like that. I don't know.
I hate this. I wouldn't. Especially if it's as chalked as Dog says, because I really think we're gonna go over.
It's gonna. I mean, what is it? Doesn't Steele have like 6, like pretty much all finishes?
I think he's got 2 decisions, 1 sub, and the rest are KOs.
And then Ottani's just like mostly finishes too, I feel like.
Let me see if I was right. 3 KOs, 1 sub, 2 decisions for Steele, and Ottani. Yeah, he's only been to decision twice.
Yeah,
been in the 3rd round 4 times.
Yeah, it's gonna be like I don't think it'll be minus 500, but it's gonna be juice for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. Stylistically, just for me, I feel like we're gonna go the full distance. So if it's really minus 400, that'll probably be my only play on the fight. Yeah, we'll see what the size looks like.
I don't know what. Like I said, I don't know what to think about the fight, but like in theory, if Ottani is just like throwing bombs on Steele and Steele is wrestling, like we could go. You know what I mean? If Steele's just putting on a wrestling clinic. So yeah, maybe overs and like it's gonna be probably over 1.5 at like I'd have to think an over 1.5 is like pick'ems here. Like no prices yet, so I'm just spitballing, but that's how I would price it. And like
based off how they've been doing it though, I'd bet they're gonna do 1.5 minus 180 is my guess.
For the over or under?
Over.
See, but what's been happening, and what I've been seeing at least, is they've been putting them. If they don't know, they're just putting it at 1.5 at Pick'em, and then letting people just come in and move it around.
Yeah,
like that was how it was with the Bashi Ramos fights. They put it, they set it at Pick'em or something like that. The over took a ton of money, and then the under took a ton of money, and then it just kind of evened out. Like I feel like it from like a pricing perspective, from like Bet Online, if they don't have enough data to support the totals. It's probably over 15, over
1.5. He means, I think.
Oh Jesus!
Glenbot,
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Stats.
So I mean, yeah. But here's the thing, Glenbot. It's like, who did he fight last fight? I can't remember.
I'm pulling it up because I actually also don't remember off the top of my head. Alejandro Martinez. And like he couldn't even hold him down. Like he couldn't hold him down. He couldn't hold down Echeverry.
Hey! Oh, wait, hey! No, Nico Echeverry. Hey, Nico Echeverry's the man. I love him.
I'm not hating.
He's good.
Kilmer took him down, but Kilmer's also kind of good.
Kilmer's good.
Yeah, he's better than his record, I think.
He's a million times better than his record. Kilmer's really good. He's just young. He's still super young, and I don't know that. I mean, Kilmer's good. I'm not. Yeah,
but
solid
grappler. That's what I was saying. Like literally, the last time he's really, really held someone down was Brackenden Freeman, 2022, and that was his second pro fight.
Yeah.
Other than that, he's not holding anybody down. So that's like my thing. But all right, we can move on.
That's fair. I mean, I do think Kilmer and Echeverry are solid grapplers, though. So
no, they're pretty good. They're definitely pretty good.
Yeah, but I think they're better grapplers than this Ottoni guy looks on tape.
Offensively, yeah, we just don't really know. We don't really know.
I don't know. I can't get the thoughts out of my head about this guy literally submitting himself to Claver Sosa, just submitting himself in a guillotine. If you guys haven't watched it, I'll probably like post the clip on Twitter or something. It is so funny.
But all right, before we go into our main event, we currently have 100 live viewers across Twitter and YouTube. Thank you guys all for tuning in. Please like, retweet, subscribe, comment, just do something. It helps a lot with the algo and all that good stuff. Now, main event, talk about no tape, unless you're willing to show over like $50 to Hexagon. Is that the promotion?
Yeah, Hex MMA.
Hex. Yeah, but here we got. Is it Navajo Sterling versus Phillip Latu? Sterling 4-0 undefeated. He's going to be 26 years old, 6'4" with an 82-inch reach. Latu 6-1-0. He's 33, so he's going to be 7 years older, I think. 1 inch shorter, 3-inch reach disadvantage. Start us off, dog.
Kickboxer versus kickboxer here at the end of the day. And so I don't know how Navajo Sterling's minus 260 in a kickboxing fight to Phillip Latu. That's all I got to say. It doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. I mean, I haven't had the, so you know me, I'll typically just buy the fights because at the end of the day, I feel like it gives you a gigantic edge on the market because a lot of people don't. I feel like, but for me, my opinion, if I'm betting half my mortgage on a fight, I should probably have all the tape. Or if I'm making a big bet, I'm betting like not my mortgage payment on the fight, but I'm betting a reasonable sum of money on the fight. So I'd like to have all the tape if I can do it. And so in my opinion, I don't know how you can bet minus 260 on this Navajo Sterling guy. I watched his kickboxing fights. He's fighting absolute cans. Like big time cans. So is he really even that good of a kickboxer? Like I from what I saw, he's a pretty good kickboxer, and he's gigantic. He's jacked. He looks the part for damn sure. Like if you were like, what if you got like a jacked guy from CKB at like, what is this, 280, 205?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you got like a jacked guy from CKB and you were like, make a Carlos Alberg model, but make him bleach blonde, you'd like stick Navajo Sterling in the game, and you'd be like, this is the guy. And I think I think people might be eating that up a little bit too much because Phillip Latu is a damn good kickboxer. A damn good kickboxer. And so the line is really confusing to me unless we're just not watching all of the tape, because I'd be surprised if everybody who's betting into this has watched every little bit of Navajo Stirling's tape, because I'm not like super impressed with his kickboxing tape from not that long ago. It was like maybe not even over 2 years ago, and I wasn't that impressed, to be honest. I don't think so, to be honest. I haven't seen any guy like Latu's not going to grapple at all. Latu's only pro loss was to Alvin Hines, who was at heavyweight, who's like a pressure style grappler. And he was lighting up Hines on the feet because he's an absolute punching bag. But that was a 205. And he's like a heavy pace, wrestler grappler who's like solid at jiu-jitsu for heavyweight. And he's an absolute tank of a guy. So that doesn't really bother me too much. So if this line keeps going, I'm going to buy all of the Stirling tape. I just want to see face-offs, though, because Latu, I don't want to be, respectfully, he could probably make 170 or 185 at the slightest because he looks a little soft, to be honest. He was kind of rocking like the DC shorts in his last fight where he has them like pulled up to his belly button so you can't see his gut. And I think he's probably going to be outsized here and possibly, from a physicality aspect, outgunned a little bit. But yeah, I think if it's a kickboxing fight, I don't know how you get to minus 260 on Latu. He's a really good kickboxer. And to be honest, from what I saw, I mean, this dude's not a glory. I mean, I haven't seen him. If he was at like a big kickboxing promotion and killing it, that's great. And have like 20, 30 fights. And I was super impressed. But like from the little bit of data that I do have on him, I wasn't really that impressed with his kickboxing, to be honest. Like he looks like a typical CKB guy. You know what I mean? Like hands right here, jabbing and front kicking and teeping and calf kicking. But yeah, he does. Yeah, I mean, I didn't know that Stirling is short notice.
Weren't they both short notice, or did Latu already have the spot?
I can't remember. I thought this was booked. I have to look. I haven't looked in. To be honest, I've only looked into this one a little bit though. I haven't paid for the tape on Stirling yet because I want to see the face-offs.
Yeah,
I think this Stirling guy is kind of an enigma to me right now. Like I don't really know too much about him. I mean, so until I watch all the tape and see him at the face-offs, then I'll start digging in tomorrow. But I am more familiar with Latu because he's been on the regional scene. He's been on CFFC. I've taped him before. I've watched his fights. So I'm more familiar with Latu. And the line is surprising if this guy is a kickboxer.
Yeah, I get it. Honestly, though, like I was expecting Latu to be a little better just based off of like seeing what everybody was saying, at least in the Discord. Everybody's talking about it. And I get we don't have much tape on Stirling, but I wasn't super impressed by Latu. Like, why are you getting hit so much by Dylan Potter if you're that good of a kickboxer? I mean, he outstruck him, he beat him, finished him. Great. It just didn't seem that impressive to me. Other than that, I mean, watching Stirling's kickboxing tape, and then there's one video with highlights because I'm not buying the hex stuff. But just watching that, they seem almost identical the way they strike, like almost identical. Stirling seems to hit a bit harder, seems a little bit more explosive with his movements, definitely seems more athletic. I don't think there's much debate there. But other than that, like they do all the same moves. Like if they were in UFC 5, they probably have the same move sets, probably won't be much different. Both of them like to mix in the kicks really nice with the hands. Both go to the body pretty well. Seen a little bit more of it from Stirling, but again, that was in kickboxing. But is it going to be that much different? Like, there's not going to be any takedown threat, at least not from Latu, and I don't really expect Stirling to shoot either. And then with, like, I don't know, like with city kickboxing guys who are coming in with just a few pro fights, you either get a Carlos Olberg, who's, like, world-class and might eventually compete for a title, or you get Blood Diamond, who didn't do very well at all. I tend to feel just with my gut from what I'm seeing that Stirling is more of an Olberg, but that's a complete guess, and I haven't been able to watch his MMA tape. So I can't be confident either way. My eyes and gut from just the little bit I'm seeing, I'm leaning Stirling, bigger, stronger, more athletic, seems to hit harder, and just seems a little bit better to me. But I understand why anybody would play Latu, because like you said, you're getting a kickboxing match, and they appear to have the same skills, appear to be similar in skill level, but one of them is minus 260 and the other one's plus 200.
Yeah, I gotta look more into it though. But obviously,
bro, that shit's like, for one fight, it's like $30, I think. And then if you want like more than one fight, it's like, I don't know the conversion. It's like $99 of whatever their
you gotta buy like the membership if you want to watch them all.
It's like $50 or $60. Like,
yeah, it's like $60. Yeah,
I don't care that much.
I do.
Well, you're betting thousands of dollars. That makes sense then.
That'd be hilarious if I had like a huge bet on Navajo Stirling. I just didn't watch anything.
I mean, he passes the eye test, as you guys say, but
yeah, he does. I mean, like I was saying when it started out with, I'm like, this dude passes the Carlos Ulberg eye test. You know what I mean? Like, way more than Latu does, but from a stylistics perspective, it's just kind of like, what?
Yeah.
Like I didn't see any, like, I don't know, from the little bit that I did see, I'm like, is this guy like over 70% in a kickboxing fight to Latu? And I think if you watch the tape too, you'd be like, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to see his actual MMA tape. Saw Pirate maybe has a membership, but maybe I'll have to talk to him.
Nah, he ain't.
And what is he talking about now?
I have an account. Oh, the Hex account?
Yeah.
Maybe.
That would be clutch. But all right, guys, that's a card. What were you saying?
Told me he played minus 125 Stirling opener. He's capping, and I know he didn't tape it. So
he played that's where it opened at minus 125.
Yeah, they opened it at Pick'em, I think.
DraftKings says it opened minus 154, at least on fight odds, but I know that's wrong sometimes.
Yeah, Bet Online, I think maybe they opened it around.
Bet Online says minus 200 opener.
Really?
Yeah, because because DK opened it, then closed it, then opened it again. He probably got it the first time.
Oh,
I guess I'm wrong on all fronts. It was Bet Online after.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I thought.
Local man Shakes Fist also got the minus 1.
Yeah, I'm sure you taped all of Navajo Stirling's fights too.
Hey, I mean, at minus 125, and you do know that he's the bigger, stronger guy.
He looks like he's the A side.
Yeah, and you do know that Latu doesn't seem super athletic and could probably fight at welterweight, like you said. Like, I think minus 125 is valid. I probably would have done it too.
Yeah, I agree, but I got to tape the fight.
Because it's different than Cavalcanti last week, because that dude had nothing, no tape. At least Stirling, you can go watch his kickboxing fights. Cavalcanti had nothing. And then if this was like against a guy who could grapple, then I would say you're working with just as little info. But because you're working with another kickboxer, you have a decent idea of what to expect with Stirling.
Yeah, that's fair.
But all right, guys, that's it. 109 viewers. Thank you all for tuning in. 5 fights, some pretty good ones. We can run through it real quick, say our picks, and then we can jump on out of here. First fight, I think we're both saying Laframboise, right? Laframboise.
Yeah, I'll pick Laframboise to win. Nothing from a betting perspective.
Yeah, it's dog or pass for me, but I'm going to need much better number on the dog. We're both on Musasav, both on Belgaroui in terms of a pick. I think we both lean Steele in terms of a pick, right?
I don't freaking know about that. Like, I taped the fight and I'm like, I don't no idea. Like, I guess it's a dog or pass type of situation, but I lean Steele to win the fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then main event, I'm on Stirling. Dog's saying there's probably value on Latu, right?
Yeah, there's got to be value on Latu, but like I said, until I watch all the tape, then yeah, I'll figure it out. Maybe the Stirling guy is legit. You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
Level of comp just to me doesn't seem like it would make you incredibly bullish though. It's not like he's fought anybody.
Yeah, I mean the best guy is probably Chance EK because he fought on PFL, but he's not good at all. But all right, guys, that's it. In terms of content for me this week, I'm going away on Tuesday. I'll be out of the country, so I won't be dropping anything later in the week. I'm going to be doing the panel tomorrow on my channel. It'll be me. It'll be Tyler, as always. Dan from Best Fight from Half the Battle. I almost said his Twitter handle by accident. He'll be on with us, and I'm still working on a fourth guest, and that's going to be my show of the week. I'm just not going to have time to do a separate pod, and there's no real reason to do it because the panel will be on my channel. And that's going to be it for me. How about you, dog? You got any content this week?
I'm not sure if Lou Betya is out getting the milk still. He's been gone for a while with getting milk. He hasn't come back in a while, but I'm hoping he will return soon so we can get back to business. On Fight Factor, which, we were on a bit of a roll there. So, yeah, I guess the show, maybe tomorrow, maybe it won't be, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I'll post. I mean, I bet Musasa already. I'll post if I have any other bets on the card, probably before the card or whatever. But I don't really foresee myself having a ton of action on this card. It just kind of seems like a high variance card. Like I just don't have. I don't really feel really bullish about anything. Like, and I feel like you're probably in the same boat. So.
Yeah, only bet that stood out to me was Musasa, and I made it the second I finished taping.
Honestly, I'm hate to say it. We probably gonna lay the juice on Belgaroui, boy.
We probably will.
Probably gonna lay the juice.
Problem is, by the time you could get to it, it's gonna be like minus 500.
Don't say that.
And even for me, like with everything I'm saying, I'm still kind of anxious to lay 4 units on it. But I just should. I feel like I probably just should. Because if I can't make an argument for the dog, if I can't even try, because I even tried with Marotte. I didn't really because I knew he was going to lose, but I at least tried to say something. Like, I just don't know what Iwasaki could do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting of the mindset of like, if something has value, it has value. And it's hard for me to, it's like you said, if it's hard for me to find a path for the underdog, then it's like, okay, well, there has to be value in the favorite then. Like, even if it's minus 400, it's like, what do you cap? What do you even cap this Japanese guy's win condition as?
A sub, I guess.
Like with what? I don't know. With what? What's he got?
Seen him take the back before.
Is he gonna get Belgaroui's back? Is the question.
I mean, he might drag him down.
That's true.
Like, I feel like it's not it's a non-zero outcome. Like, I'd give it at least like 3% that he could sub him.
3%, very specific number.
Well, I'm just thinking because I just had the Steve Garcia subs, and I had to know the percentages for those.
He almost had it.
Didn't even get out of it. No, the wrong guy almost had the sub, and in the wrong round. Kyle had his back in the first.
You know how I was always saying that I'd always bet Steve Garcia unders, and the last 2 fights I've just passed on him for some reason. I don't know why.
The fate is going to be glorious, but I don't know when on earth it's going to happen. That dude is scary.
People have underestimated him for a long time.
I mean, even now, he's not technical. He's just a beast.
He's a savage. Real ones bet him for way too much money against Chase Hooper.
I had him against Chase, but that one made sense. Like,
do you remember that line too?
It was like pick 'em.
No.
Yeah, it was.
No, you don't know ball, brother.
Bro, I could have. I'm looking this up. I could have sworn.
No, brother. It was like 250 on Garcia.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it closed like upwards of 250, I think.
I'm on the case. I need to know. Because I'm almost positive I played him at a close line in that fight.
No.
I mean, Tapology's saying that he was plus 245 dog.
Yeah, that's around what I bet.
Oh, so that's what we bet him at? I know I bet him.
Homie, that shit was not pick 'em, dog.
I thought it was Pick'em though for some reason.
No, Hooper closed like upwards of minus 300 in some places.
I mean, at the time, I was waiting to fade Hooper. I faded him with Peter Barrett. I faded him with the guy after that who beat him. I forgot the name.
Brother, I bet I had way too much money on that fight. I'll leave it at that. I was like, yo, I'm not even like a Chase Hooper hater, but
yo, look at this. The local man got me.
True.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Played him at 150 for him to get reversed by $1.50 probably.
Yeah, the second I bet Musasav and I saw the line movement go my way, I was like, damn it.
Lost it's not good. You got CLV on Santos, so it's not a curse.
Which Santos?
D Jordan.
Technically, yeah. Does it count though if I got him like right before the fight started?
Yeah, because on Bet Online it closed at plus 300 because I bet 320, and I'm sure my play moved it to like 300.
Remember, I literally hit you up. I was like, I need plus 400, and then I checked the odds, and he was plus 400. So I was like,
you messaged me like it's 375. I need 400. 2 minutes later, I've played 400.
I was like, I guess I gotta play it.
I was sitting around waiting for the line, and I think like 25 minutes before the fight, I'm like, because I remember I passed on Pulayev after I was like the biggest Pulayev has to be a bet this week guy on our show, and I just didn't bet it for some. You know why? It's because I won the Wellmaker bet like sweat free. So I'm like, I'm taking my 2 units profit, I'm washing my hands, and I'm moving on. And then after the fight, I was like, why did I do this to myself? Because now I feel worse. You know what I mean?
Like, yeah, that's kind of why I made myself bet Santos. I was like, if this dude cashes, I'm going to be so pissed at myself.
Well, that was my thought. I'm like, I'm not making the same mistake as I did the week before when I'm like, Pulayev has to be the side. And then I don't bet it. Well, I'm like, we said the same thing. It's like, if Curry can't get takedowns, what does this look like?
Yep.
And I sometimes get influenced by people who I respect that are like, you know, this guy sucks. You know what I mean? Like Santos sucks, you know, blah, 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 blah. And I went back and I listened to our show and I went into the Discord where I discussed with some people. And my first message in the Discord was, how the fuck is Will Curry this big of a favorite?
Yeah. And I mean, on the show, I hadn't taped it yet. So I was like, maybe I'll parlay Will Curry. Remember? I literally said, maybe I'll parlay him. And then I taped it and I was like, hell no. Definitely Santos or pass.
Yeah. I mean, my totals, my reads on totals have been pretty awful on Contender Series, but my money lines are good. I'm like 3-1 on money lines, but my totals are 50-50. So I'd be up if I was just playing money lines, I'd be up, you know, pretty significantly, but totals have been killing my profit. So I'm only up like 0.8 units or whatever, which is fine. But if I was being a little more responsible and, you know, actually I had bad variance on the Romeus total, dude. F that.
Yeah, that was rough.
How do you body kick somebody and then just jump on top of them?
I told you he doesn't have good fight IQ. I mean, you knew that too. Most people knew.
Yeah, I mean, normally if you kick somebody in the body with your knee and they fall to the ground, you don't jump on them. That's just my thought. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's common sense, but in the moment, I get it. He was probably stressed too.
How many times do we see somebody get like dropped with the body shot and they keel over and die, and the ref just waves it off immediately?
Yeah.
But Romeus, you know, welcome to the UFC, but dude, get your head on straight, dog.
Yes, I'm not sold on most of the signings so far. I feel like we're gonna get good fades.
I was about to say, who do you like the best out of all the guys? I mean, obviously everybody's gonna say Bashi, but
Bashi was impressive.
It will come. I'm gonna fade him big time at one point.
With the right guy, yeah. I'm trying to remember who else has been signed.
He's gonna get knocked out bad one time. He's gonna get brutal.
Malcolm's probably one of the best guys, I think.
Yeah.
Haddon is pretty damn good.
For sure.
The Australian dude who just won, dude. He's good.
Oh, Loner.
Oh yeah, Loner's got a good ceiling. I'm hyped for him.
Loner, Haddon.
Ochoa technically got signed off the show. He's fighting Loner.
Oh yeah, from Shoot the Box.
He was supposed to fight Duffy originally. Yeah, remember we tried to fade him on LFA once.
And yeah, that was funny. And then that Lincoln Santos guy that he deaded is like now might fight for the LFA belt, which is so funny. So Pantoja is like the champion at Shoot the Brazil now.
Oh, Delgado.
Oh, Delgado. Yeah, Delgado's a great shout. Yeah, he's
good.
He's a beast. His time will come too with that style. That can't last forever in the UFC, to be honest, though.
Yeah, he's well rounded though. I'll give him that.
He's got a high. I mean, I just don't know what his ceiling is, but he's really skilled already. But you can't fight like a psychopath like that in the UFC.
Yeah, that Russian heavyweight's probably gonna do decently well.
Oh yeah, Ruslan.
He's gonna get a few wins, I think.
He's good, man. Actually, you know what? Now that the more we talk about it, there's like probably 6 or 7 guys off this season that dude, Kunaev could easily be ranked at heavyweight.
Yeah.
Easily.
Even Piccinini and Duffy, like if they get signed, I think both of them are good prospects.
They're all right. Yeah, they'd be all right. Duffy will be fine. I just don't know. I think Piccinini gets dunked on, to be honest with you, brother.
I think he's got some work to do, but I don't know, man. He in terms of just wrestling, dude's a legend.
Yeah, but what if somebody has counter wrest? I mean, dude, Jack Duffy was getting up no problem because Piccinini has no jits. So it's like, what's this dude gonna do? Just like, okay, he can't get a takedown. He's screwed.
Yeah, he's got some work to do for sure.
Duffy's not even a good striker. He's a jiu-jitsu guy, and he was lighting him up. Like,
you think you'll bet Duffy in the rematch?
No, because the line's gonna be like -1. It'll be closely lined, but Piccinini will be on a full cam.
Yeah, I'll probably bet him again, to be honest.
Who?
Piccinini.
Yeah, I'll bet Piccinini again.
I had his decision the first time. I'll bet his money line if it's that close.
I mean, we talked about it. It was overs and Piccinini decision for sure.
Yes, sir.
I mean, it hit, but Duffy decision was probably Duffy decision and GTDs and overs were definitely really sharp there.
Yeah, I didn't deserve the win there on Nick. Definitely not.
I mean, you probably should have just played GTD, like with the price discrepancy from +165 to +110 on the GTD. You probably should have just
played that. Yeah.
So,
but all right, guys.
Part of this, look at us, guys. Listen to our MMA podcast. We aren't cocky, and we can make mistakes and admit that we could have done something better. Shocking. Guys, that is shocking news that you can hear on this podcast every week if you tune in and listen.
Yeah, I mean, I do a lot of things wrong, but I think the one thing I definitely don't do is try to make excuses for my losses. Like if I lost it, like whatever, it happens. If it was a robbery and I got robbed, even then, like you won't catch me complaining. I'll be like, yeah, that sucked.
Dude, if I bet the Romeus under at -150 and he body kicks him and jumps in his guard, and we knew he had bad IQ, that's on me. You know what I mean? That's on me. That we both knew he didn't have good IQ, and maybe I shouldn't have trusted him to run through Imperato under 1.5. Like it wasn't a good bet at the end of the day.
Oh yeah, my Buka bet. He didn't say anything about Buka, but it made me remember about it. My Buka
you could have been
terrible.
Honestly, the only thing that had value in that fight was Petrosky decision. I mean, I guess Petrosky laid on him, so he had value. Like he easily won. But
yeah, it was never close. There was never a moment where it was like, "Oh, Buka might get it."
No, I mean that was a hard. Like who? That fight's not even worth like wasting your breath over, bro.
I'm just sad my legend is probably gonna get cut soon.
Yeah, he's not ready.
Definitely, like if you're not gonna sign what's his name, Finney, you probably shouldn't have signed Buka.
Honestly, Finney and Buka would be like a competitive fight.
Honestly, yeah, I don't know who I'd bet on.
I know you don't want to say it, but it would be competitive actually.
I'd probably bet. I feel like Finney's got a little bit of a better ceiling.
Yeah, but Finney would be like, if they fought, Finney would somehow be like miraculously minus 300 to Budka, and you'd be like, what? Oh no, I'm gonna have to bet him again.
Literally,
because there's no way the line is right.
All right. I gotta get out of here. Dog, you got anything else to say? All right, peace out, guys. Good luck this weekend and on Tuesday, and yeah, peace.